welcome to week 5, day 4 of our Build Balance Momentum program. Today's posture of the day is half moon pose. So we're just going to jump right on in today. I think I've exposed you to half moon pose maybe once or twice, but we'll dive in a little bit deeper into some mimic postures before actually going into the full posture. It's a little bit of a balancing act. So we're going to start out in Thunderbolt posture, or the posture I am in right now, this low kneeling posture. Feel free to put a block or towel in between your butt and your feet if it's a little bit uncomfortable for you. And we're just going to get started with our hands on our knees and connecting with our breath. So I welcome you to close your eyes at this time. And just take a few deep breaths before settling into your natural breathing rhythm. In through the nose and out through the nose. But as always, if it's more comfortable for you to breathe out through your mouth, that is completely okay. And just take note of any anxiety that you may be holding on to in your muscles, any tension or tight spots, and just kind of roll out those areas. So if your shoulders are tense, feel free to roll them out at this time, or wiggle your arms, roll out your wrists, maybe your neck, do some nice neck rolls. Just loosen your body up. Okay, I welcome you to open your eyes at this time, and we're going to get started with some gentle kneeling cat-cows. So with your hands on your knees, I want you to inhale, pulling your chest through your biceps, rounding out the back and bringing your gaze up and forward. And then exhale, round out the back of the spine, pushing your knees away and tucking your chin in towards your chest as you find hollowness in your front body. Inhale, pull your chest forward. Exhale, round out your back, tucking your chin. This is a great way to warm up the spine from your thoracic spine, which is your neck, all the way down to your lumbar spine. Feel free to go at your own pace if you need to. Inhaling as you pull your chest through and exhaling as you round out the back, hollowing out the chest. And we'll return to a neutral spine. And this time we're going to come up high onto our knees. And we're going to extend our left leg out. We want to extend it out to the point where we can feel a nice stretch in our groin and our inner thigh, our adductor muscles. And we're going to keep that foot flat on the ground to really activate those inner thigh muscles. And we're going to place our hands on our mat. And inhale. And then exhale, kind of sink your booty towards your foot without actually resting it on your foot. And you should feel a nice stretch through the inner thigh. Inhale, back up. Exhale, stretch it back down. If you're not feeling it in your inner thigh, make sure that this foot is flat on the mat, and also that your leg is out wide enough. If it's too close, you might not feel it. I should say maybe if it's too far up. So just kind of play with the positioning of your leg to what really feels good for you. And then inhale. And then exhale, back down. Inhale. Exhale, back down. Inhale. One more exhale, back down. We'll inhale back up. This time bring your right hand over to the outside of your right knee. And let's inhale our left arm up. And let's see if we can kind of pulse that leg up and down. So inhale that leg up, and then exhale it back down. Inhale it up. We're abducting the leg. Exhale back down. Inhale up. Exhale down. So this is kind of like mimicking half moon pose, only in a kneeling posture, to get you kind of used to the feeling. So we're just trying to bring our leg up in line with our hip. We're not trying to go, super all the way up, if you can even go that high. I know I can't. But just, getting that nice movement through the joint. And now we're gonna hold here, pull that knee in, and just do some hip circles. See if you can balance. If this is too hard on your bottom knee, feel free to put a towel or blanket under that. Let's do some nice slow hip circles here. And then change directions. Really putting our hips through those full range of motion. Good, and extend it back out. Drop that left hand to the mat. Come up into plank, only keep your right leg hovering. We're gonna do a one-legged chaturanga. So inhale, lean forward onto your left toes. Exhale, chaturanga. Inhale, drop that right foot into upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Pedal out those legs if you need to. And really find your breath in this posture. Deep inhale and exhale. Stretching those, getting a nice stretch and lengthening of the spine. Feel free to bend those knees if you need to get more length in your spine. We're going to ground through that left foot as we inhale the right foot up and back. And then exhale it. Let's bring it to the outside of the right hand here. And we're going to do what we call lizard pose, which is really great for opening up the hip. So feel free to grab some blocks at this time if you're not too flexible. You can either stay in this posture, which is runner's lunge. And so you want to think about keeping that knee tucked in towards your shoulder. So don't let it drag open. That's really good if you want to open up the hip even more, I should say. But we're going to concentrate on keeping it towards our body at this time. So you can either stay in lizard pose or in runner's lunge, which is this, or you can drop down into lizard pose, which is onto your forearms. And you'll really be able to tell this is a super deep stretch. So if this is too uncomfortable, feel free to rest your forearms on the block. And really just breathe through this posture. You may feel your legs burning. And that's okay. That's what we're trying to get at here. Couple more deep breaths in this pose. All right, and we are going to lift our arms back up, remove our block, but you can keep it close just in case you decide you need it for our upcoming postures. Let's hop that back leg in just a bit, straighten out that front leg, drop that left hand on the inside of the right leg, and open up our right arm towards the ceiling. So revolved triangle pose. You can even use your block here and put it under your hand if that's a little more comfortable for you. through the posture. When you're ready, we're gonna bend that right leg again, and we're gonna inhale up into Warrior One posture. So kind of spread out those legs a little wider if you need to, and kind of sink into that front leg, really feeling a nice stretch. And lining up our back heel with our front heel, if you can. If that's too uncomfortable, you can always bring your legs out a little wider. Just find your sweet spot in this posture. The point is to kind of have our hips aimed towards the front of our mat, but it doesn't necessarily have to be square. I like to angle it more towards kind of towards the edge of the mat is where it's a little more comfortable for me and for my hips and bone structure. So inhale, exhale, hinge at the hips as we swing our arms back and you kind of bring your chest in towards your thigh. Inhale, back up. Exhale, back down. Inhale, back up. Exhale into Humble Warrior. Inhale, up. Exhale, back down. This time, hop that back leg in. Drop that right hand to the mat. You can put the block there if you need to. And we're going to push through that front leg as we inhale our left leg up. Bringing that left arm up towards the ceiling into Half Moon Pose. Feel free to remove the block if you need to. Otherwise, hold it here for a second. Breathe through the posture. Whoop. It's okay if you lose balance. Flex those back feet. Spine long. And release back down, dropping that back leg. Bringing your blocks over to the other side. And let's drop that left knee to the mat now as we come into our adductor rocks on the other side. So straighten out that front leg, drop that foot flat onto the mat. Bring our hands forward in front of us. Inhale. And exhale, set your booty towards your left foot. Feeling that stretch through the inner thigh. Inhale, back up. Exhale, down. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale, back down. Inhale, back up. We'll do one more exhale down. Inhale, back up. This time dropping your left hand on the outside of your left knee. Bring your right arm up and over. And let's inhale that right foot up, flexing your toes towards your shins as you bring it up. Feeling the activation in the hip joint. Exhale, lower down. Inhale, up. Hold here. Exhale, down. Inhale, up. Hold. Exhale, down. Inhale, up. Hold. Exhale, down. This time, pull your knee in, and we're going to do those hip circles. So start in one direction. Remember to breathe as we do these. Slow and controlled move your hip through its full range of motion. And let's switch sides. Good, and let's bring that leg out long, drop it on the mat. Bring your right arm down to the mat as you pivot and bring that left leg back, hovering it in one-legged plank. Keeping that foot hovered, we're going to come into chaturanga. So inhale onto the toes of your right foot, leaning forward. Exhale, chaturanga. Drop that left foot to the mat. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Breathe through the posture. Reconnect with your breath. Maybe do some sways to really feel it in your upper back. Now ground through that right foot as you inhale your left foot up. And then exhale, tuck that knee in towards your chest as you bring it to drop your left foot to the outside of your left hand. Sink into the posture. So sink into this nice runner's lunge. Very deep lunge here. Again, you may hold it in this position, or you can drop your forearms to the mat, grabbing that block if you need to. And I always like a block with this one because it gets a little bit too deep of a stretch for myself even. So feel free to drop your forearms on your block, hugging that knee in towards your shoulder. And let's just breathe through this posture. You can always come back up into runner's lunge if this gets too intense for you. One more deep breath. Good, we're gonna come back up onto our hands. You can keep that block there, move it forward if you need to. Let's hop that right leg in just a bit, dropping that heel towards the mat, straightening out that left leg. And let's open up to the left side. So open up that left hand towards the ceiling, getting a nice revolved triangle stretch. You can always take your block, put your hand on your block. I like to stay up on my fingertips. Gaze up to your fingertips and towards the ceiling. Now let's drop that hand, widen out those legs just a bit, bend that front leg and rise up into warrior one. Do a foot check if you need to. Lengthening your tailbone down. Bending, generous bend in that front leg. Shoulders relaxed back. Inhale. Exhale, hinge at the hips. Bringing your right arms up and over into humble warrior. I should say up and behind. Inhale, back up. Exhale, chest towards your knees. Inhale, back up. Exhale. One more. Inhale, up. Exhale, down. This time, hop that left or that back leg in just a bit. I like to bring my block to the front of my foot. Use it as balance as I kind of bring my weight into my left leg and hop my right leg up. Find your balance, flexing that back leg. I always lose my balance when I teach these. Flexing those back toes. Inhale your right arm up. You can keep your hand on your block or remove it, drop your hand towards the floor, whichever is easiest for you. Strong, active, core engaged. Breathe. All right, release, bending that front leg and dropping that leg to the mat. We're going to inhale our arms up. Exhale, hinge at the hips. As we swan dive forward, clasp our hands behind our back, pull open that chest. Opening up those shoulders. Breathe. Inhale. Come into a flat back. Exhale, release your hands, folding into the mat. Inhale, come into a flat back. Exhale, bend those legs. Maybe walk those feet in just a bit so you can sit down onto your butt comfortably. Stay here only a moment. We're going to grab the outside of our legs and see if you can open up your legs into a wide-legged boat. So spine long, pulling your chest forward. You can keep your legs bent if that's most comfortable. Good. Release. This time widening up those legs onto the mat. See if you can come onto your forearms. You can always grab your block for this if that's comfortable for you. Just feel the stretch through the hamstrings. You can even kind of rock back and forth. Notice any muscle activation that occurs when you lean one way versus the other. Where do you feel it more? Those are the kinds of things we want to think about in our practice as we get a little more comfortable in moving through the flows. And since this is week 5, we want to start thinking more about what muscles are being engaged. Even if you don't know the muscle name, even if you just know, you can feel and tell which muscle or like what part of your body is being activated. You don't need to know the muscle, but it's good to be able to pay attention to be like, oh yeah, I feel it, more in my hip, or oh, I feel it right here. Like, that's all good, because then when you're just moving intuitively and you need to stretch, you can kind of remember and think back to what postures helped you like release into those muscles. So let's walk our hands over to the right side. Deep inhale and exhale forward into that leg. Keeping that left sit bone on the mat. We don't want to be picking it up off the mat. Inhale, lift back up. Let's walk our hands over to the other leg. Inhale, straighten out the spine, and then exhale, fold into the stretch. Whew, this leg's tighter. Definitely feel it in my hamstrings. Again, check on that hip bone. My hip bone always likes to try to come off the mat, so think about actively lengthening, pulling that hip bone back down while you're stretching your body to the other side. And release back up. This time we're going to bring our feet towards the mat. We're actually going to bring our feet kind of by our butts. Use and hold onto our knees as we slowly roll down. We're going to do a couple bridge postures here to really lengthen out the front body. So lift up your bum, kind of bring your arms, clasping your fingers together under your butt, and walk your shoulder blades together so your shoulders under you. So and then inhale as we open, pushing your pelvis towards the ceiling. Even walk your legs in just a bit. Come up into our bridge pose. Breathe through the posture. Neck long and relaxed. We're not scrunching our airways here. We're not scrunching that neck in towards our chin, our chin in towards our chest. I mean. See if you can ground through that left foot. And maybe you reach your right foot towards the ceiling, still pushing that pelvis up, squeezing your quads, squeezing your glutes just a bit. Kind of bring that leg down and around now onto your left leg. And do you remember that eagle posture? Let's see if we can wrap the leg around the left leg. If
If not, you can simply rest it like this. There'll be more of a hip opening stretch on your left or on your right hip. Otherwise, kind of wrap the foot around if you can. And then slowly drop that pelvis, pulling those knees in towards your chest. And bring use your left hand to kind of guide those feet over to the left side. Bringing your right arm out, shoulder level to the floor, bringing your gaze over your right fingers. Only go what's comfortable in this final stretch. This really gets a deeper stretch when you wrap your feet around each other like this, your legs around each other. So only go as far as you are comfortable in this final stretch. All right, good, and let's return to center. Unwind those legs. Let's come back up into our bridge. So bring those arms over, booty up. Walk those shoulder blades together. Pelvis up. If you bring those knees or those feet in a little closer. Ground through that right leg as you bring that left foot up towards the ceiling. Hold here a moment. Now stretch across the body and see if you can wrap it around that right leg. You may have to lift the heel of the right foot up to get it fully wrapped. Again, if that's too uncomfortable, feel free to just rest it on there. Maybe pull that knee down to get a nice hip opening stretch. Whichever one you would like to do and is most comfortable for you. And then let's drop our butt to the mat. Pull our knees in towards each other, or towards our chest. Good, take your right hand and drop those knees over to the right side. Just as much as comfortable in a spinal twist. And open up that left arm to the side, gaze following it. Let's return to center now. Unwind our legs. And let's just do a full body knee to chest stretch. Let's pull up our chin in towards our knees. And then release it down for Shavasana. So let your legs hang heavy, your feet hang heavy, arms relaxed. Actively think about relaxing your shoulders since we hold so much tension in them. Let's just return to our natural breathing. I hope after these practices you're starting to feel strong and capable and really open and loose. Maybe you're starting to see your mobility increase with response to the workouts and the yoga flows, which is the intention of this whole program. So feel free to take bits and pieces from your yoga class and just sprinkle them into your day. Do some hip circles if you're standing at your desk. Just standing hip circles is fine. Do some lateral bends. It doesn't all have to be strictly on the mat. It can be incorporated into your day if you need just like a couple minutes of movement. It'll make a world of a difference if you're feeling stiff and you've been sitting all day. So just remember that as we move through our practices. If something feels really good, maybe just take a mental note of that and incorporate it into your day. Let's return to our natural breath. And turn our attention inward.